Live from Genghis Cohen in the heart of Hollywood, it's the Nighttime Show! Tonight we have a very special guest from All American Rejects, star of The House Bunny and an upcoming solo project, Tyson Ritter. With us as always, our head writer, Matt Walker. I'm the voice of the Nighttime Show, Mike Black. And now, the Sultan of Sandwiches, the Baron of Buffalo Wings, the man himself, Stephen Kramer Glickman!
Yabba dabba you! What's going on, guys?
Wow.
How we doing?
Yeah.
That's Mike Black. He is our announcer. He brings the power of 1,000 wins.
We're at a monster truck rally. We went from Genghis Cohen, really nice and intimate, to just full-on arena-packed filled
Sunday.
Full-on.
He really does it.
I wasn't expecting it.
You need that. You need that kind of
Hype
energy.
man.
He is.
Like full-on hype man.
He fucking goes for it.
Great.
It's amazing. Tyson, you are a wonderful fella for coming out to come sit with us and chat and have this nice chat.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks, man. What's been going on? What's happening in your life currently? What's currently going on?
Like what, today?
What happened today? What were you working on?
What happened today? Today I went climbing, ripped my toenail off.
Oh my
holy
God.
shit!
Are
Yeah,
you
it's a big
kidding
day.
me?
It's a big day. Rock climbing. I started this rock climbing thing. It's fucking.
Wait,
Like
hang on.
on real rocks
Real
or like
rocks
the fake
or the
walls?
fake
Fake,
walks?
yeah, no, God,
Fake
Jesus,
walks.
I'll never, no,
What are you doing?
no chance of getting splat at the end of my ascension. No. So other than that, I'm peachy.
Are
you
you-
know?
you're working on new
which
music?
toenail was it, though?
It was it's my second to the big toe, so don't worry.
The middle finger
And
of
it
the
came
toe.
right off?
Yeah.
It literally came off as I went into the climbing gym. It wasn't even a part of the climbing.
Oh.
It
Just
was
on
like
its own, out of fear.
yeah, it was like we shouldn't do this. I sacrificed myself for the foot. And
Did you still go climbing?
Yeah,
Or no?
totally.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like a
Taped it up.
sock accident.
Okay, let me just say this right now, just in case my girlfriend is listening to this episode. If I ever, or manager, anybody that professionally
you don't
works
have
with
a
me or my
girlfriend,
girl.
Steven.
Okay, listen.
Come
If
on.
anybody that I know that's close to me is listening to this, if my toenail ever comes off, I'm canceling everything I'm doing for the rest of the month. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to cry
That's
and
a
hide.
bad health sign. My
That's-
friend Jay Craig in elementary school, one of his toenails fell off one day and his hair was starting to fall out.
Oh.
The nurse called his parents, found out they'd been feeding him nothing but Twinkies.
For
They were
how
just-
long?
Oh, shit.
Like a month.
Oh
They were
my
like,
God.
How many Twinkies have you had in the last month?
Not a
was
sound
in
diet.
4th grade and he looked like he had full-blown AIDS.
Oh, no.
And so they were like, you're feeding him real food or we're going to intervene from now on.
Holy Jesus Christ.
He barfed in front of me, and it was like a big wad of gray foam. And when it hit the ground, it went tss.
and it burned the pavement.
Bad news. Yeah.
Yeah, Stephen, if you're ever involved in rock climbing, it's because little people are trying to climb you. That's the only way it's going to happen.
My friend Ronnie had
No.
2 thumbs on each hand. If we're
Wow.
talking about, I think that was a segue from toenails.
That's awesome.
Yeah. that's
Are you
pretty
serious?
cool.
Yeah,
He had 2
and-
thumbs on each hand.
Yeah, and he had
He
a
had 12
really
fingers.
clever nickname. It was Ronnie Two Thumbs, which was funny because he had 4.
4 thumbs, yeah.
I just thought it was I couldn't believe that thinking back now.
He was
Ronnie
probably...
Two Thumbs.
Was he really successful at hitchhiking?
No, I mean, no, but he could open pickle jars like a motherfucker.
Oh my God.
We got to get him on the podcast.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, totally.
So you're working on new music right now, away from like a solo thing. or a new thing?
Well, the Rejects, that's kind of like, it's great. This is the 15-year anniversary this year, actually, of our first record, and we're kind of just like, well, why don't we just celebrate the fact that we have a legacy and let's ride that coattail for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And in that time, we've disbanded into different areas of our lives. Where my drummer's got a brewery now, and Nick, my partner for forever, is writing in Nashville doing that shit. And I went out to L.A. against my own thought. I always thought when you move out to L.A. that, Winona Ryder tried to date you and would ruin your music. And so...
Sure.
That was the pattern.
That was a huge pattern.
Yeah.
I was like seriously afraid. Or like you would get golf clubs in your hand, and then Alice Cooper, we all know what happened there too.
Yeah.
So it was just sort of like I was afraid of LA, but now that I kind of embraced it, music's coming to me in a totally different way.
Yeah, Alice Cooper now
Wow.
in Jesus Christ Superstar on television.
Yeah, he's
That's what he's
playing King Herod in the Jesus Christ Superstar television musical.
2-word review. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty it's something.
Exactly.
But yeah, that to come out to LA, were you already when you moved out here? Was it after the band, or were you?
Nah, it was in 2009. I came out here. It was after we had a song.
You've been around for 10 years at that point.
I was always afraid of it. I always knew LA was like dangerous, so we moved to a retirement. I'm from Oklahoma originally. We moved to a retirement community in Florida because it just seemed safe.
Less chance of
totally.
rider showing up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, well, no, and just the fact that LA was always this thing of like lore. It was like, don't move out to LA. It's it'll swallow you whole, and the nightclub scene.
A lot more
and
dangerous stuff to do with money if you have it.
Right. No. Yeah, there's like that bit of a thing, and so I always kept that safe distance, and then finally when I was like 26 I came out here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the LA thing. And first year I was here, I met a girl that was just crazy. But
what are the odds in Los Angeles?
It's funny, I thought she was crazy, but actually it was me that was just crazy for her, and she wasn't into it at all. But she kept me around like this poisonous
I've met her. We've dated.
Right? It's like a rite of passage. You meet that girl in LA or that person in LA. And so I ran away to New York for a year, and I was like, screw LA. And then I was like, man, New York is just like a giant concrete jungle. I can't deal with it. Finally came back, found a way to make my roots, and my secret was just staying in Los Feliz. Like, I didn't go to Hollywood anymore.
Smart.
I thought Hollywood was like, I was like, wow, everybody wants me to come out and like hang out and every night. This is great.
Yeah.
You don't do anything but pay for other people's drinks. This is great. and then I wised up, and now I'm like a hermit in my pad, and it's great.
Yeah,
I wish I'd met you when I moved to LA, because it's like that's all. What you just said in the last 5 minutes would have saved me about 8 years of bullshit.
Yeah, man, it's such 8 years. You put in some time.
I put it. Yeah,
I did like 9 months, and I was like, all right, that's it.
I grew up in Southern California, so I never had any of that.
Right?
I'm just like, no, I'm not doing any of that.
This is just home, man.
But why would I want to do? Just go home and get
he
some
lives,
sleep.
You live where? Where do you live?
I live in Montebello.
You live in Montebello.
Yeah.
And you've lived in like Whittier and Montebello for your entire life.
Well, I went to college in Pennsylvania, but
right, yeah.
So I spent 6 years in Pittsburgh, which is not as fun as LA.
Yeah, there's a bit of
good town. Love Pittsburgh.
Bit of a curmudgeon energy to that zone, man.
Yeah. In LA, I've lived in 9 different parts
places,
of LA. I lived in Westwood. I lived in Northridge. I lived in Encino.
Did a nickel up in Chino.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Studio City. I lived right in the middle of Hollywood, and like the place that I've been at for the last almost 10 years is nearby the Hollywood Bowl, but up in the hillside where it's quiet.
Fancy.
Well, no. It's like real.
La-di-da.
No, but on the Cahuenga Pass, you know where the Cahuenga Pass is?
Yeah.
So it's really quiet. All my neighbors are really quiet. Everybody, no one fucking bothers me.
They're quiet. You're not quiet.
I have a piano.
Yeah.
I have a piano in my kitchen, and I sit there and play at like 2 a.m, and no one has ever once complained that I'm playing the piano in the middle of the night. No one fucking bothers me.
Nice.
Everyone has been very cool. And my dogs bark and shit, and no one fucking says anything.
It's great, right?
It's
when
really
you can
nice.
find your solace
Well, it's
in
'cause
this
solid, quiet
monstrous city.
You had neighbors that were in the Wu-Tang Clan that apparently threw parties that the cops would come to every week, and that's why they don't complain about you.
The
RZA
had a place in our complex.
Oh, just a little side note.
The RZA.
Party Central just happened to be upstairs.
Yeah. Right.
And so everybody was comparing that mess to you. Okay.
A guy got stabbed.
I was going to say, you can kill people
and
rip their flesh off and have them screaming bloody murder, and it's still nothing to do with the base bleed into
100%, man.
Exactly.
Miss Petrie's floor apartment.
No. It definitely, right when I moved in, it was like, everyone was like, "Oh, be careful! Top floor. That's all Wu-Tang."
What are you playing? What are you playing?
You did a music video
at 2
with
a.m. What are you playing?
What am I playing on the piano?
Yeah, at 2 a.m.
The other night, I did a little thing. I did like 6 songs on Instagram where I played like 6 songs in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I did 9 Inch Nails Closer.
Okay, so you're not just doing. You didn't just do like
the Bare Necessities from from Disney.
Whoa,
I
talk
did,
about a pivot.
You did What You
weird
Say?
Pivot. I did What You Say by
Somebody tuned in.
Ray Charles.
Oh, you were
Ryan.
in there, huh? 2
did.
a.m. You're like, what's Steven doing? You got your alerts on for him. God, Steven's playing 6 songs. Honey, wake up.
It's a concert.
I did a Radiohead, and I did a.
Did you do Creep? Is that what you did?
No, I did High and Dry.
I've seen him do Creep at the W when that shit was popping
we used to
on.
do that at the W.
Do you not miss that like more than anything?
that
was a Sunday night hang.
What happened
you know-
to it? It's not doing it anymore? or-
I don't remember. Well, Brenna's not there anymore.
Okay.
Brenna
Yeah.
Whitaker, this incredible
she was great.
voice. Still is.
I
She's still
met her.
she's
I
still
have her
jumping
album.
around. Yeah.
That came- yeah.
Right.
Here, what was crazy was they had a doorman at the front, and if you walked up and you'd go, "Oh, I'm here to see the jazz night," they would go, "Yeah, sorry, we're full." And then every once in a while, someone would walk up and they would go, "You're welcome to come in." And they kept it like really private. It was the lobby of the W,
And you'd have like David Beckham there.
You'd have David
Yeah.
Beckham. You'd have Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. You'd
Oh,
have-
really? I don't think I caught
yeah.
the Beebs.
Bruno Mars. You. A bunch of the people from like The Voice or American Idol.
It was kind of a thing. It was a bit of a scene
yeah,
for a
yeah,
second,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it was like enjoyable. It didn't feel like L.A. It felt like we're all reverting back to some golden era.
Yeah, it was like
And then
almost
that all went
it
to
was
shit.
almost it was too good to last.
Right.
You know,
It was
like
a
because
shooting
it was
star.
free. It was free for people to go to and like to get a seat in this giant I mean, the room was packed with
I
like
always
400 or
said
500
203, bro.
people.
Yeah.
Room 203.
Oof.
That's
I
how
mean-
I got in.
Oh no, I know.
Oh yeah, I
know.
didn't.
would always
I go. I'm a fucking guest at
yeah.
the W.
They would.
If they
would
were
let
like
me-
trying to be like, "Who are you on the list?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm on the list of I paid $300 for my room. Let me in."
Yeah, let me into the fucking hotel. They let me
Going to the pool.
sing there a couple times, like at
were
least
great.
like 3 or 4 times, and
You
that's where we
killed it.
met because we would do shows. And they would like bring me up, and I would do like Creep, or I'd do,
I
like,
thought this guy. I was like, this guy's totally gonna do some Skinner, or this guy's gonna do like some Seeger, and he's like doing Creep.
I did Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor one night.
You got that.
But they had a
falsetto,
full
girl.
size band with an orchestra like behind us, and they would play anything you can think of.
It was
Like,
the
it was
times.
so much fucking fun, man.
Totally, man.
I had my birthday there one time, and
Yeah.
I brought Jeff Ross and Craig Robinson and Matt and a bunch of people, a bunch of friends and family, and Macy Gray got up and sang and
Yeah.
DJ'd for a while.
Right.
It was like, what the fuck?
Well, it
man?
was it was a
And then it all
cesspool
just-
of culture.
And then it all just exploded. Like Brenna got like a new deal, I think at the Troubadour or
Yeah,
somewhere.
there was something
Something
happened.
happened.
There was a fight.
see.
There was a
Might
fight.
have been a fight.
It was maybe a
They tried to
money
move
fight.
somewhere else, and it's just
Probably.
never the same.
Probably.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
They
then
were
they
making
couldn't
hand
do
over
it.
fist on that shit.
Yeah.
No. It's too. Yeah, things like that. Every once in a
We're
while,
officially
something like that
promoting the
happens.
W, aren't we? Like right now, it's
Well,
like but no,
What the W was.
but it's
Yeah.
gone.
Not
Right?
anymore, yeah.
Well, like we,
Now it's just a shithole.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's so sad. But it does happen, though. You know, it happens weirdly in LA that every once in a while, one room, some weird room somewhere gets
Sayers
super
Club.
fucking hot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
You had all those things, man. There was all those things. When LP was like every night at the Sayers Club.
We're working
that
on
was
making
another
Genghis
thing.
Cohen the new W.
I
That's
think
what we
it's,
do. It could be the
maybe
place.
we reupholstered the pews.
It could
Maybe
be the
get some
place.
hymnals behind the back seats,
like-
and we just do some church up in this
Because the food is fantastic here, and
It
it's
is
like
very
a
good.
cool venue.
Second to
You
none.
Come here, yeah.
Hey, I know we got a lot of artists and a lot of musicians that listen to the nighttime show and have been on the nighttime show, but I'll tell you what a lot of them are missing. They're missing merch, okay? And it is very easy to have an amazing merch store with Artist Shops by Threadless. Just add your art to hundreds of clothing, accessories, and home decor items in just minutes. Plus, it's fully customizable so you can make your shop totally unique to your style. But the best part is, here's the best part, it's 100% free to sign up. 0 minimums, 0 monthly fees. You even set your own prices so you can control how much money goes into your pocket. And with millions of dollars paid to artists to date, there is a lot of moolah to be made, okay? Artists, designers, podcasters, free up all the time that you'd be spending at the post office, shipping, dealing with customer service, and put it towards what you love, being creative, okay? Threadless takes care of the rest of it. And with 100,000 shop owners and 4 million users, just join the party. Head to artistshops.com/SKG to sign up right now. That's artistshops.com/SKG. patreon.com/SKG to sign up right now. Also, the Nighttime Show partnered with Threadless, so we have something amazing. You need to go check it out. We got mugs, shower curtains, T-shirts, sweaters, anything you can imagine. We have it for sale, Nighttime Show style. Go check it out. It's thenighttimeshow.threadless.com. That's thenighttimeshow.threadless.com, and check out our store with all of our cool stuff. It's so awesome. Let's get back to the show. You do a night. They have an emo night.
I've worked a little bit with
those, right?
Babs in that gang because they're just great kids, man. They
people go
I say
crazy.
Kids, but they're
47.
45.
Well, they're kids, but they have the mentality of they're just movers and shakers, man. It's it's that Gen X.
Oh,
Gran Turismo, playing all those video games their childhood. They have their synopsis are electric, man.
Yeah,
I'm 8 steps behind. I'm like, what are you talking about? Cross-pollinating social media. The fact that you are integrating an Instagram questionnaire at the end of this, literally, I'm having trouble even understanding what that thing in your hand is.
That's weird, right?
It's a phone,
little,
right?
Yeah, it is a little weird.
Did you see that today that they came out with the text?
Oh, yeah.
The text only, text and phone call
phone only.
Dumb phone is what they're calling it.
The dumb phone. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. If people are just pulling out their old Nokias going, you mean this old thing?
Yeah.
The thing we all had.
I would get one of those. That sounds...
My wife
but
thinks I'm an idiot.
Can you play Snake on it? That's the only thing.
Right. Minesweeper and Snake come with it. No, but I was just thinking, I was like, I'm totally going to get one of those so I don't lose my fucking phone when I go out to dinner anymore.
Yeah.
Just for that simplistic moment of... Hey.
Now, did you meet your wife out here in LA? Or?
No, I actually. It's a terrible story of it just sounds so trendy. I met my wife on Twitter, which is just weird to me.
That gives
5 years ago it was
hope.
weird, but now I guess it's
normal.
that's
Becoming
totally
standard,
normal,
yeah.
man.
Sure.
I met her through an exchange.
Did you
digital
slide into her
letters.
DMs or did she slide into your DMs?
I slid into her DMs by I said, here's my number. I dare you to call me. Boom.
Whoa.
Right? Keep it in her corner. And
Now,
it was so cocky.
Was she was she somebody known on Twitter, or is
Slam.
she just a random person? You
She
just
was.
liked her and-
I had not dated for 2 years, and I looked on the TV, and she was on this Stars television show, and it was just coming out, and I was like, "Who's this girl? I don't know who this girl is." And I stalked her and looked her up. And then I just was like, boom. I heard Adam Duritz was dating Emmy Rossum the week before. I was like, you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That guy gets to date her? He dated every chick on Friends 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Fast forward 20 years later, the same guy, with the bald spot and the dreads.
Yeah.
Not that bald spots are bad. I love your head.
Yeah, but
Steven.
hadn't been relevant for 15 years at least.
Let's
be honest.
It was a really.
I think he's 60.
It was
and
a
he's
really,
dating
really
Emmy
long
Rossum.
December.
The man's
Oh my
75
God.
years old. He's 80.
He is,
and he's dating Emmy Rossum from tweeting her on Twitter. And I was like, you know what? I'm just
Holy
gonna do one of these fires in the dark. It was my birthday,
That's
my 28th birthday. I was like, you know what? I'm fucking lonely, and I sent it out, and it was. It was fate.
That's a short May.
It
long
wasn't
December
Winona
romance.
Ryder, was it?
It was Winona Ryder.
So
Winona Ryder on Twitter.
So your wife was on
pre-Stranger Things too, so she was like, you know what, maybe.
Yeah.
So your wife was on it. Who is your wife then? Because
her name's
no.
Elena Satine. Elena Satine, and she's been on.
What was the show she
whole
was
bunch
on?
of stuff. She was on this.
Her name sounds suspicious. She might be catfishing you.
I haven't met her yet. She was on the Star show was called Magic City, and then she's doing her thing and she's doing great. So
awesome.
Yeah, so now we live in LA and we're all
we're
all
with Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
hooked up. Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
Oh yeah, your
on
wife
The
is
Walking Dead.
very, very cool.
I love
She's on Twin
In
Peaks.
case you weren't aware.
She's on
she
Twin
was
Peaks.
on. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I know her from.
Totally.
So
I know
she's
that
on Twin
name.
Peaks. Did she talk backwards all the time at home? Is that what
Yeah, but man. Talk about going through a trip. That show. Jesus.
Yeah.
I went to the
I've never
premiere
done
thing.
drugs, but I've seen
you
Twin
really?
Peaks, and I feel like it's basically the same thing.
Oh man, I went to. You've never done drugs.
No.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah,
The
I
complexion is.
he's a-
I have.
No. Yeah, so we went to the Twin Peaks premiere, and that was literally it was a 4-hour premiere.
Yeah.
And so it was crazy because the theater is totally packed, and by the end of it, I remember I think it premiered at Cannes and it got like a standing ovation. And in LA, of course, wherever it was, everybody, it was just like, is it Cannes? I'm sorry. Did I say it wrong?
As soon as I hear that word, I just think of William Shatner screaming, Cannes! in Star Trek 2. But that's...
And I immediately thought you were referring to Comic-Con.
Nice.
I was like,
you guys totally Connors, aren't you? Are you guys Common? Let's talk about shit you want to talk about. This guy's quiet over here with he had the biggest intro. And he's like taking it back. So he's like, I don't give a fuck about this LA garbage conversation. I don't really either. Let the next thing, if we go to traffic, you should just ask me to leave.
Look, I want to hear, how did you get started in music? Because you grew up in Oklahoma.
Man, let me paint a picture for you. I'm a trailer house boy from Oklahoma. When I was 14, my folks got a divorce, and my dad had this this other wife, and I just could not stand her. And so I asked him if I could stay in this trailer house by myself. You know, it's like $10 a month for the rent. Yeah. It wasn't anything nice. And he was like, yes. And I was like, we were both under this negotiation that no one would let anyone else in the family know. And so he gave me like $60 a month to eat off of. And luckily I had a girlfriend that was... And unfortunately, my girlfriend was 2 years older than me, so she basically just turned into like my chauffeur mom. But I found music in that solace, and I just wrote. And I met my buddy Nick, who came from a totally different side of the tracks. We kind of fused together in this one moment of desperation of like, all right, we're either gonna go to college, which Nick tried that because he was 2 years older than me, and like, you know, he was taking music courses, and he was like, I'm literally going to school for no
what
reason.
I'm already doing.
Yeah, and I have a really big thing about people that go to school to learn how music, because for me, it's like, I think it's dangerous. It's like, well, why would you go to music school to learn? It's like being taught how to paint.
Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck, if you want me to tell me how to take a photograph or how to use a paintbrush, you're just showing me your way. And dude, I have I have a problem with instruction when it comes to that shit.
Dude, a girl I know just
I'm a crappy songwriter, that's why.
A girl I know just told me that her ex-boyfriend is attending Columbia University to get his master's degree in acting.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So he'll never
And
work.
I was like, why the fuck?
So he wasted 8 castable years.
Yeah.
Right, if you said
And he spent-
bachelor's or you like, it's interesting.
Hundreds of thousands of
So much
dollars.
debt.
Totally.
To get
Nothing
a degree
like
in
starting
something
out
that-
as an actor with a shitload of debt.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting with acting because I think it's a different thing because the craft is something you spend your lifetime pursuing, and if you need the outside influence, maybe
Juilliard, some training, maybe a conservatory, but not.
I don't
a
know.
master's
I
degree.
guess it's all subjective.
I don't know.
But so anyway, my buddy and I we grouped up and we were sending demos out. We were listening to like the Get Up Kids, like all this sort of like Lawrence, Kansas music, like the Get Up Kids, like Reggie and the Full Effect. It's probably stuff you guys have never heard of or listened to. But there was this like little indie rock scene that was coming out that Doghouse Records out of Cleveland, Ohio was a part of. We sent out an unsolicited 5-song CD that we were like we'd been touring as a 2-piece band with a Casio machine as a drummer. Texas, Kansas bars and Oklahoma bars, and the niece of the owner, Dirk of Doghouse, pulled our CD that we sent unsolicited out of the trash, took it home for the weekend, and she came back on a Monday. She said, you have to listen to this. And they flew down to Tulsa and saw us play For Nobody with our Casio drummer. And they signed us right there.
Wow.
And
Holy
it was
shit.
just like, I was going in my senior year next year, and first thing I did was like grab a Doghouse Records T-shirt, and I'm like walking through school with just the birds out, like I'm out of here, everybody, I made it, and like I hadn't made shit. Like, this was like this was literally like just a tiny little record company.
Is that still one of those record deals where like you basically pay them to put out your album almost like the
No, it was legit. They gave us like, we had $10,000 to record the record in New York City. It was like this. It was enough, man.
That's half an hour in a studio.
Oh,
right?
totally,
Yeah.
right? That studio day rate's like $2,000, especially back in 2002 before everybody had their garage bands. I mean, right now you guys have a mixer. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
You could do it with even less, right?
Yeah.
But it's like that was a big deal for us, and we were still we thought we were set, and we recorded in New York City, and we got like one of these after the record was in the can, all of a sudden, this was when radio still had a little bit of power.
Yeah.
And so Tulsa radio was like celebrating a hometown section on Sundays. We had a song called Swing Swing that they played. And the program director used to work at K-Rock LA, and he showed it on the off chance hand to Kevin Weatherly, who was the PD at the time of the K-Rock, and he started spinning it on Sunday in a cage match, and it won every week for like 10 weeks or something.
Holy shit.
And then all of a sudden, like Warner Brothers and Capitol and all these, like
they hear it.
Every complete big suited, shithead was like calling my house, calling my mom's house, asking to try to get us out west. It was so weird. Like Sylvia Rhone, this woman is like the Oprah Winfrey of the record. I forget what their company was. It was a big one. And like they signed like Third Eye Blind and all those things back in the day, and they had the whole Prince catalog. Like it was a big, I forget, I can't
like
believe
BMI
I
or something.
Something.
Yeah.
So she's like calling, and she's just got this, hey baby, it's Tyson there. I was just trying to see if we can get him out west, And so for that summer after we recorded this record, we flew like 50,000 miles, met everybody on the whole tree. And this isn't coming from I'm not pivoting from like a braggadocious place.
Yeah.
This was so fucking surreal.
Yeah.
I was 17, and these guys that are like 50, 60, like, coming and playing the new Bruce Springsteen record, Charlie Walk, this is great. So Charlie Walk, he's kind of one of these, man, I hate to say it, complete garbage human that is now under allegations for sexual harassment, abuse in the whole system on the music side. See, everybody thinks it's just the movie business that's getting taken
it's all
down.
the business.
No, it's there are
every
assholes.
industry.
There are executives and assholes in an industry that nobody really cares to promote because I guess it doesn't make the flashy headlines.
Right.
So he's under fire right now. So I have no remorse in sort of saying that this guy is literally the reason why people write songs about how shitty the record business is. This was his pitch when we walked into his office, right? So we called this, they were like, oh, you're going to the Death Star, which was like Sony or something like that. It was like Sony. They had the big Death Star. They called it the Death Star because it has a window that literally looks like a cutout of the Death Star, which is like the sign of the times when you walk in. You're like, oh shit, is this where we want to be?
Yeah.
We go into his office and see these people back in the day. They had a spiel to close on kids, like especially young bands. So it was always about like with another record company. It was like they sent Matt Pinfield out. Yeah. And like to have him introduce you in nowhere fucking Kansas, and you're like, oh my God, Matt Pinfield is, which Matt Pinfield is totally rad. Yeah. But like he was the closer for like bands because it was like the move. It was the power move, right? Other record companies were like, here's a fistful of cash, go to the strip club, which that was my first strip club was the Body Shop in LA. I mean, it was a rude awakening. I don't go to those establishments. They frighten me now because they're it's a weird sexualized culture, the strip club thing. But so I go into Charlie Walk's office, and the guy literally has a smirk on his face like he owns the place, and he's got a basketball in his hand, and the first thing out of his mouth, we're walking, we're like, hey man, what's up, like sit down. It's totally like totally straight out of the page of like that thing you do, and we're like bright-eyed and ready, and he's got his basketball in his hand. He's like, hey, I want to put the ball, throws it at me in your court. You see this phone? I break 5 of these phones a day. Throws the phone against the wall. Hey, give me another phone, Sylvia. Like the biggest cock show I've ever seen in my life, and it was real, dude. I literally was looking around at everybody else in our band, going, Is this a cartoon? Am I watching a movie? Where's the cameraman? I think this is like a punked. Because it was popular back then.
Yeah. Now, did you have a full band at this point, or was it still just the two of you?
Yeah, we were a full band, and we were just
because you got signed as a duo.
Culture shock to New York City. For not only that, we're from Oklahoma. We're like, man, we just been playing Texas.
Yeah, you spent like the last few years living basically in a Tom Waits album cover, and then suddenly you're in Manhattan dealing with like this guy doing power moves.
Seriously,
in
like
the Death Star.
If that guy was literally gonna, I was imagining like he was gonna pull around and be like, "Here's a plate of cocaine, kids. Watch this."
Here's a plate. Here's a bunch of cash I'm gonna burn right now in front of you.
Seriously,
I like all my contracts signed in blood. If you don't mind.
But what was the only godsend was we had the guy I lived with at the time, he was posing as our acting manager. And so we're like, well, whatever Brian says. His name was B-Rob. And B-Rob is like this artistic savant. Like he knew nothing about business or anything. He owned a secondhand store that I worked for him at. So he was like our guy going around telling people like, hey, you want to talk to the rejects? You got to talk to me. And he literally got in a like hour and a half conversation with like, this is a guy who like signed Springsteen. And he's like, man, I don't care what you say. And I'm like, I remember just being like, I had my first martini next to it. Like, and I saw one of those and I'm like, just like literally just shit-eating grin going, this is the best dinner I've ever had in my life. And he's like talking to him. He's like, it's got to be, this is his negotiation tactic. It's got to be 60% art, 40% business, or we're walking away from the table. like that's something you can quantify. Not only in air.
What?
Like, and
That's
the guy,
what he said
yes.
is the negotiation?
It was like, no, it wasn't a numbers talk at all. This was about the art, man.
And he was going to walk on that.
And that's right.
He goes, we can do 65%
And seriously,
art.
the guy literally just sort of like looked at me because I'm just like living on the table, like waiting for anyone to answer because I'm like, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that sounds,
And he's
like a good ratio.
We have a meeting next week, a phone meeting, you and I. I'm going to say that on the phone call next week.
And
I will do it.
It'll shock
Say it.
people.
I will do it.
Because the guy literally was like, oh, we can make that happen.
That is the right answer.
It's
That
the
is
only
exact
answer to
right
that
answer,
question.
yeah.
Wow.
Like we know that the art gets compromised because this is the big machine,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
60-40 or we're walking away.
That's doable. That's
You know,
So that was a
like-
bit of the courtship. I think I just like ran through like a slip and slide version of like what like the greatest hits of my memories of that.
Oh
But
my God.
so it was a whirlwind for a 17-year-old boy for sure.
Is that where you ended up?
No, hell no. No, we went. No, the only one that sold us was this guy named Jeff Sosno found us at a bar in Kansas City, and he's been my mentor ever since I was a kid, since that age on. But he brought us into DreamWorks Records, where there was this guy named Michael Goldstone who signed like Pearl Jam and started a lot of the grunge era stuff.
And he promised 61% art?
No, he fell asleep during the meeting.
That's
and
my
we were
power
like,
move.
we were like,
Wait. Hang on a second. What do you mean the guy from
they were
DreamWorks?
showing us, they were showing us DreamWorks stuff. They were like, look, Papa Roach, Nelly Furtado, and then he was like,
a bad year to.
it was awesome. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It was huge. So and literally when he's like
Who
showing
fell
music
asleep?
videos, he did, the guy
The
trying
guy
to
from DreamWorks.
Yeah, Michael, and he like he literally
the
just
move.
he was on his hand. He just. And we left there going like, man, was that like a move?
That's the move.
We
It's
were
gotta
like
be.
so confused. We're
It was
like,
a
fuck
major
this.
power move.
This is like such an independent major label. Why not, man? Like the guy who's found
wake
us
him
seems
up.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like maybe this is where we need to
It's
be.
his wake up call right there.
Oh, some shit,
Because
man.
either he did it on purpose, or more frightening, he didn't.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, no.
Either way,
I
that's
don't
a
think he
power
did.
move.
That's the funny
Yeah.
thing. I was like, man, the only way to remove yourself from a meeting is to go to sleep.
God.
So that's why we signed with DreamWorks Records, and then the rest was sort of a slip and slide. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I like that
that's
someone woke
fucking-
him and told him that you'd been signed.
We stood up and he was still down, dude. I remember standing up to leave. It was
My
kind of
God.
It was kind of great.
I would be
Financially, I'm not going to ask exact numbers, but I mean, you were going from like $60 a week for food or whatever it was, right? Or a month
No, I remember exactly. This was like
to like, did you start making big money right away? Or was it like a couple years down the road when you sort of blew up even
Well, you
more?
can just
then you
look at
started
their
making real
album
money?
sales, and it's 40%.
it was 40% against the art was obviously protected with 60% of that money.
Did you feel taken care of financially by the way that
We
things
had
were
a unique
handled?
situation because we were getting fostered by independent record company that was obviously getting ready
And they
to-
get their cut.
They got a nice
Yeah.
piece, but we for kids from Oklahoma, it was enough to be able to like, okay, I can go to college. If
Yeah.
this goes tits up now,
I can
this
still-
was
I
a
can-
great way
yeah.
because my parents were going to help me. So
Yeah.
it was always like, especially after that first record, like we sold our records. I remember I had like 40 grand in the bank, and I was like, all right, I can either take this and go back to OSU because we were just starting to get all this pressure cooker for like writing another hit jam. Or I can go work at Blockbuster and just protect it. Because I was like, you know what? I want to watch movies all day.
Yeah.
I want to work at That was the only job I always said, you know what? At the end of the day, I am going to work at Blockbuster, so help me God.
And then they went out of business.
Yeah, fuck, right? I think they're going to come back. I think people need choices, man. I think there's going to be some form of... maybe not Blockbuster.
Yeah,
you guys
it
are
won't
like,
be Blockbuster.
no, dude,
Something might come
it's
back,
not
but it's
coming
not
back.
We have
Blockbuster. No.
Netflix and Amazon.
Like
now.
GameStop is still around, and there's got to be like a little thing going on with. Do we really
I
not give a
know.
shit about physical movies anymore?
Let me tell you something. Me and Mike.
I'm pretty sure
me
you're
and-
also the only
I'm the
person
only
who
one saying
who made a blood oath that they were going to work at Blockbuster one day.
No way,
I worked
man.
there. It's
You know
not
what?
that
By the way,
great.
Tyson, please
Mike
tell me if
and me-
somebody...
When I was a kid, I smoked copious amounts of weed.
please
so
tell me
that
if
was
somebody-
the whole derivative. I was like, you know what? I can go to the bathroom. I can watch Encino Man, and then I can.
It is
you
the
know.
ideal job of a certain age.
Right,
It's
totally.
yeah.
Just tell me of somebody else making your investment decisions for you. Like, you're not doing that yourself,
Oh
right?
yeah, no, I have an Uncle Larry.
Okay,
It's great.
good.
Okay, good. Thank
you.
God you're not
Thank God,
investing in
because
Blockbuster.
Oh,
your
yeah.
Blockbuster pick is not a winner.
But I'll
No,
tell you
don't
something.
worry. I didn't
wanna-
buy stock in Blockbuster.
Me
it
and-
was just more of a career choice, damn it.
Mike
I was
and
hoping
me-
I could get stock options as an
Okay.
employee.
Mike and me both worked at Blockbuster, and I worked at Hollywood Video.
Oh,
as
the
well.
last pillar. One of the
pillar.
was it the last
It
pillar?
was
Yeah.
one of the last. And I'll tell you what, I learned more about about movies and film working at Blockbuster and Hollywood Video than I did anywhere else. I mean, I have more
I was
now as a grown up,
responsible
but I mean,
for my Blockbuster getting the letterbox section. I hounded them. I was like, we need letterbox movies. And they were like, what are you talking about? And I showed them and they were like, this is half the picture. And I was like, no, you've been
it's
getting
twice
half the
the
picture
picture.
your whole life.
Right? Oh, that's
you don't
funny.
understand.
And
You mean it?
did I tell you how I quit Blockbuster?
Where are you from again?
Colorado.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
yeah.
got-
tell me-
I
you
got-
tell yours,
I
I'll
quit
tell mine.
fired. I was like quit and fired simultaneously because my manager, I mentioned wrestling for the first time when we were alone in the back doing inventory stuff. And that was her thing. And I didn't know it.
Okay.
And I was listening to her story, but the way she described it was weird. She was like, oh, did you see last night's Raw? And I was like, no, I missed it. And she goes, John Cena comes into the ring and he's talking all this shit. And then Kane comes in and smacks the shit out of him. Then Mankind comes in and beats him off. And then I'm already kind of laughing that she said Mankind beats him off.
Yeah.
She kept using that term. Then all these other guys came in.
Beating
and
each
half
other
of them were beating each other up. And she just kept saying it, and I'm just laughing at her. And she goes, oh, you don't really like wrestling. And then she leaves, and I was like, I just fucked up this job.
Oh no!
I was like,
What a
I
simple.
was like, I don't think it's working out. She's like, I don't either. I think you need to go. And I was like, cool.
Oh, that's
And then
so
I moved from
brutal.
Blockbuster to Dave and Buster's after that. It was-
Ah,
okay.
You got to
Colorado
keep a
was real
buster.
big on Buster.
Still a thriving business, Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I worked at Blockbuster Video, and we were only allowed to rent 4 movies a week, something like
Right,
that.
yep.
And I had watched all my
Wow.
4 movies already. I'd already seen my 4 movies, and there was a girl who was out of town, so I asked the manager on duty if I could use one of her movies, so I could watch Terminator 3, the one with the girl, the lady,
Yeah.
Wow.
Terminator, right? The
Christina Loken?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
The Terminatrix.
I watched it. I returned it the next day, and then a week later, the girl came back from being out of town, and she checked her account and saw that I had rented, or someone had rented on her account, and I said, "Oh no, I did that," and she said, "Well, I'm telling management," and she told
Christ.
our GM, and the GM was like, "Ooh, who was the manager that agreed to that? Because that's a Class A violation. It goes against
Class
everything
A.
we stand as a company.
Class A.
You can't rent on someone else's account." And I go, "I'm not going to tell you who did it. So
So
if you want to be mad at me,
Oh,
you
you,
can give
you
me."
fell on the sword.
I was
For
like,
yourself.
I was like,
Nice.
for the guy. The guy had hooked me up, and I was like, I'm not going to screw over this other guy. And she was like, you have to tell us who it is. And I go, I don't have to tell you anything. So you can can give me a violation. I was like, but whatever. Like, you know,
Class A, dude. You don't want that shit on your record.
so she
It's on
goes,
your permanent
she
record.
goes, it's a Class A violation. I'm giving you a flag or whatever, and like flagged me. And
Nightmare.
then a week later, the guy from Southern California comes in and goes, we need to have a talk, and like sat me down. And was
like
who is the
corporate.
person? Who is the person that rented this to you? And I was like, I'm not going to tell you. Forget it.
No,
It's
it's
not
like an
happening.
interrogation?
I was like, it's not a big
Say
deal.
his name.
Robert Mueller
I
comes
wouldn't
in.
do it, and then they were like, "Well, then you're fired." And I was like, "Fine." And they were like, give us your badge," and they took my badge off.
Oh, no.
And I turned to the entire store and I went, well, I know what you guys are all thinking. You all think I'm gonna freak out.
Oh, you Jerry Maguire.
Who's coming with me? Jenny, you coming with? And I did this whole like big joke, and everyone laughed.
Good for
and then
you.
I went to Hollywood Video and started working there. And then
I wish you would have. I wish you would have grabbed a copy of Jerry Maguire
Yeah.
before you left and go. But I'm taking this.
I'm taking this. I run into that guy a couple months later that I saved his job, and I go, "Oh, by the way, just so you know, I like stood up for you." And he was like, "Oh, that's nice, but I don't work there anymore." And I was like, "Why not?" And he goes, "I got fired." And I go, "For what?" And he goes, "Stealing." And I was like, "What'd you steal?" He goes, I stole 6 Xboxes.
Oh shit! Nice.
And so the reason
Good for him.
corporate was trying to find out who had done it is they figured whoever is breaking code or breaking
Is
the rules
fingering the
may be the
Xbox.
guy that is
Beating
stealing.
him off.
Yeah, so I was protecting the guy. And to make a very long story short, years later in Los Angeles, I got an audition for We Bought a Zoo, Cameron Crowe's movie, and he was at the audition, and in the room I told him the story that I did the Jerry Maguire thing, and he thought it was very funny.
And you didn't get the part.
I didn't get the part.
And we loved you, and we bought.
I got a question for you about music because you got in at an interesting
fine.
time. You got in.
We got to talk about House Bunny too, though.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute.
All right.
So you got in 99, you said, right? Sort of when you got your
Yeah.
deal. So that's right around the time when I look at music in that the album started dying and the single became king. Sort of in that time period.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
it could
feel
be. Yeah.
That
The
has
Strokes. I remember it was like Strokes had that record. I think it was
Yeah.
99, and that was to me, maybe
because
a benchmark
before
moment of
you
one
look
of
at
the last.
I mean the mid 90s Alanis Morissette Jagged Little Pill, which is a killer album,
Totally.
right? But then after that it started becoming like, oh, what's the big hit song that a band's going to come out with? How do you feel that has impacted music? Like, does that impact what you do now
Well,
as
it's
a band?
funny you
or-
say that about 99, 2000 being that from your perspective. For me, it was almost like 2009, 2007, where whatever that metric you're talking about was went into like this cartoon parody of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now it's seriously. I mean, I know I have a lot of friends that work for record labels now, and perfect example. I mean, I don't want to. I feel bad, but the "Cash Me Outside" girl.
Yeah, she's got a song.
She got signed off of Maury Povich, correct?
Yeah.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Forgive
Yeah.
me,
Yes, you're right.
Dr. Phil. I wish it was Maury.
Although
Povich.
she
that
should
would
be
have
on
been way
Maury
better.
Povich, Yeah. That or Springer.
So
yeah.
that was literally everyone. Like that was like, oh shit, we have to find and sign this girl. That was like an arms race.
Yeah.
For this "Cash Me Outside" girl, that was the thing that did it. Whereas when I was a kid, when I put out music, back then, it was about being cream. Like being the cream that rose, like there were cage matches.
Yeah.
You remember, like you were dubbing cassette tapes.
Yeah.
You were waiting for your jockey that you loved in Chicago to play that song that you had to wait a whole nother week just to see if it's going to survive the cage match to get put into regular rotation next week. Music has become second tier to celebrity and to
Yeah.
popularity.
Yeah.
So now the Instagram star and the the flavor of the week on Dr. Phil, for Christ's sakes,
That's happened across.
are now musicians,
It's
validated musicians.
That has happened across
I'm not
the
saying it's all
entertainment
that. I'm not saying it's all
No,
that.
Because
but
the
that-
Cash
it
Me
is
Outside
weird.
girl also got a deal to go on tour doing stand-up comedy.
Oh shit! I bet she's funny.
Which is
though.
a same thing that's happened like in our industry, because I see that as a comic, we see that all the time, and that fame trumps talent every single day.
Well, the thing that I think is the saddest of all this is I'm not, and is, I've been around, we've done this since 99 and, arguably, 2009 was like our peak year. We had a number one single, Gives You Hell. And it was like, I call that like, that's like the end beat of our legacy, I consider. And other bands in our contemporary, I feel have like, not had to, but the way that they've tried to keep the thing going, you see sacrifices to accommodate this new culture that we have with not only popularity, like you see bands doing like Facebook Lives and Insta stuff that you could tell are like want to put a gun to their head, Probably not topical, not the best way to describe that.
But I understand what you mean.
Like that hate life to have to do this, like people that are having to sell their souls and to compromise their fucking art, their music, just to accommodate and sound like the robots fucking on pop radio sometimes.
They're only 40% art, 60% business.
Right, those pieces of shit. No,
that's giving them a lot of credit.
I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I think it's like it's a choice you make. It's literally like the devil went down to Georgia. And do you want the golden fiddle? But the golden fiddle isn't made of gold anymore. It's made of shit. And you have to wear it around like a hat in front of your 8th grade birthday party. And that's how humiliating to me that shit is. I don't know.
That's why, I really
obviously have opinions.
You've got to call the guy that wrote that song.
Charlie Daniels?
Yeah. We have a whole nother
I got a
coupling
pitch
for this.
who I saw.
What about bringing Charlie
down
Daniels?
to Georgia.
Charlie Daniels 2018.
Made an 8th grader wear a pile of shit around as a cat.
You tell me All American Rejects and Charlie Daniels band together on tour
can't
would
reinvent
sell
the wheel.
Fuck out.
Check this out.
I saw Charlie Daniels in 1999 at the Orange County Fair.
We just played after Charlie Daniels last summer, so
Did
don't.
you seriously?
Oh
Did
hell
you
yeah, dude!
really?
I would have gone to that show in a heartbeat if I'd known about it.
It was for our armed forces, and his whole crew wear Charlie Daniels work shirts. So and they're all 70. So. This crew was like striking the stage before us, and so we had to like wait for the Charlie Daniels crew to like strike a stage. And oh my God, talk about watching some sweet paint dry.
Wow.
Side note, right?
That's amazing.
I forget what we were talking about.
Who else have you? When you toured, did you had opening acts, and did you have like people?
And you opened
like
for people
band?
too.
Did you open? And you opened for people too. Like who did you open for, and who?
We didn't
opened
do
for
a
you?
lot of opening when we were kids because our manager was so dead set on headlining. It was like life was headlining. We have to get the people that want to see you in the door because a lot of bands
that's a smart tactic. Actually,
a lot of bands that had like one single, especially like when you only had like one song, like you see it with a lot of bands today, and it's kind of comical because you're like they opened up for like a biggest joke in the world is opening for the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Like
nobody cares.
Nobody like you don't remember that band. Like
right.
if it pairs well, you're like, oh cool, man. That maybe that can be like this magical, crux where you're like, oh, I remember that. Band of Horses opened for the Stones. I remember that.
Out of all my concerts, I only remember 2 opening bands that stuck with me as like, oh, this is a band that I want to find out more about, and that's Static X. I saw opening for Fear Factory back before their first album came out. I'm like, they got something here.
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing. Now their name slips my mind, so it's on the one.
Proof
no,
in the
System of a
pudding
Down.
right there.
System of a Down. I saw open for Metallica when the
yeah.
first album was coming out. I saw a Summer Sanitarium concert.
That's a good pick.
Excellent.
And it was
that
like,
works.
and we're like, okay. I was like, these guys have something I want to see more of.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect example of
System of a Down from
proving
Montebello,
that.
California.
But yeah, no, we opened for like the most random thing. Like a really big moment for us was when we went out with Fall Out Boy when we had Move Along going, and that was like we were just selling out arenas with them in Hawthorne Heights, and it was a great moment for the emo pop culture like phenomenon. But then like opening, we were the band that could open up for Bon Jovi too, and that crowd got us too because we've always been a confused pop rock band. Like we were never emo all the way because we had big radio songs. So it's funny that. Like we're the bastards of emo, and I love holding that trophy because it's a fun place to be. You
Too
know,
bad that
we
would
did
be
the
a great
Bionicle
band name.
commercial.
The Bastards of Emo is not a bad band name.
That's my side project. Yeah, that's my solo record.
I love your like those. I mean, you guys have so many great songs, but
Thanks,
the songs like Gives You Hell and stuff like that. Like, man, oh man, when a fucking song hits a chord with people, literally,
It was a big middle finger for a lot of people.
It really was, man. Like a lot of people, like it became an anthem for a lot of people that had felt like there wasn't a song that was expressing that
the fuck you mentality,
the fuck
right?
you mentality of like you have a bad breakup and then what? Like every single breakup song is a sad breakup song. There was nothing.
Yeah, and
like
as a
that,
band,
man.
that's all we were writing too. I mean, that's all. Swing Swing was like a very sad song. Like that was our first song. So yeah, it was nice to finally write a song about like that asshole who, you wanted to just stick.
CeeLo Green hadn't been around.
That's right. It was right before that. It was right before his fuck you song.
Exactly.
And it was a lot more lyrically accessible.
Here's a little more subtle about it.
F-bomb.
Before we go live, I have to say something because I would be
House Bunny, you want to talk about?
remiss
Okay. Yes.
to not say it. We'll talk about House Bunny on the live stream. You, my friend, there was a period of time for many years. It was about 4 years where my sister was basically dying of Lyme disease, and she was on 85 antibiotics and meds a day with a drip straight to her heart, and it was horrifying. She was in hyperbaric treatment and seeing doctors every single day, and was bedridden, like was having trouble speaking. Her hearing was all fucked up. It was a mess.
She never should have jumped off that rock a third time.
Oh, damn it, Matt! No, Matt, stop. Seriously. But she slowly got better through the medications and through the treatments that she went through. And when we got her to when she got to a place that she was doing well enough, she wrote a book about getting sick and about beating it called Limelight, which ended up becoming an audio book with Natasha Lyonne from Orange is the New Black did the audio book for it.
Cool.
It made it into Entertainment Weekly as like a top 10 audiobook to listen to. It's a fucking great book. And she did a concert to like get back into the what she was doing before, and got her band together, Hey King, and like performed live on stage. And you headlined that show as a favor to me and as a favor to her.
Oh, man, we were happy to do it.
Dude, it was a fucking enormous ordeal, an enormous deal for my whole family that you did that, and I can't thank you enough for doing it, man.
They're happy to do it, man. Seriously.
And literally doing that, got her doing that show with you, and Young Bloodhawk was on that show too, and a couple other bands.
Yeah.
But you headlined that show. But you doing that with her got the attention of Ben Harper, who just recorded her new album. So he produced the whole album and took her on tour for all of last year to open for her.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So
and that she's like well enough to be able to do that.
And she has a
fucking
girlfriend, and her
incredible.
girlfriend sings with her in the band and plays drums in the band. And,
it's like heart.
dude, it's fucking great. It was great. So I can't thank you enough
That's
for that.
amazing, man.
All right,
Yeah,
we got to go
it's
live.
good.
We're going live. Here we go. All right,
We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Do it live. Here we go. All right, we're going to go. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Okay, we're live.
Terrible time to have to urinate.
You got 10 minutes. Hold on.
10 minutes
You
to
good?
figure out how to pee under the table.
Our last podcast, I had to go like from the moment we started recording, and it was like an hour and a half, and I was like, oh god.
Shit.
All
Man,
right, so
that's
we are
a hell of a bladder.
we are live on. We're live.
Talking to the microphone.
Okay, we're live
There you
on Instagram with Tyson Ritter from All American Rejects and all sorts of other wonderful things.
We're in the green light. Does it? It
Yes.
probably looks great.
It actually looks really
I have
fucking
jaundice.
cool. One of the first questions that we had that we wanted to ask you about was House Bunny being in the movie House Bunny. How did this happen? Tell us about the story about this.
I had just got my house in L.A. and my agent called and said, "Hey, do you want to read for this movie for Adam Sandler?" And I was like, "That sounds frightening. Yeah, sure. And they were like, okay, you got to be over the other side of town in an hour and a half. And I was like, oh shit. So I printed the sides out. I had been painting my kitchen. So I was like, I had paint on my hands and shit. And I looked like a mess. And I went over there and I just remember just shaking, giving the audition because I loved Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
When it came out, it was like an immediate cult thing for me. And so Alan's right there, and Fred Wolf, the director, who's like, an alumni writer for SNL. And so I read for them, and they were like, Zac Efron pulled out. You're totally the guy. I was like, fuck yeah!
God, really?
So suck on that, Efron. Guess it didn't work out for you.
Now, before you met your wife in LA, you might have had another chick say Zac Efron pulled out and you're the guy from me now.
Oh, wow. Really went for it, Matt.
Yes.
Mike, what is it? Did I get any approval or no?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Terrific.
He's scanning his socials right now.
Mike's falling asleep. Power move.
I'm busy.
Totally.
Power move. You've continued to do lots of acting and show up in movies and
Yeah.
and
The
shows.
acting stuff.
What other shows have you done that you're proud of?
I was really happy with my stint on Parenthood. That cast was incredible.
People
and,
love you on Parenthood.
It was a
man.
fun, easy role to slip into. It was kind of a lot like my stage persona. So it was nice to be the ego band asshole and to do it alongside, Mae Whitman and Dax Shepard and Mr. Crosby. It was cool, man.
That's so. I loved that show, and dude, the fan base for Parenthood is insane.
It was,
people
and it was
go,
actually Peter Krause. I remember I was smoking cigarettes then. I do not anymore. But I was outside. And I was smoking cigs, and Peter Krause was like, "Ah, man, I remember those things, And I was like, he was like, "Hey, man, you should stay in this, man. Stay with it." And I was like, "Is it worth it?" Because you see Peter Krause, especially in Parenthood, and you're just like, man, you're just like a guy you feel like you can have a beer with, like a really a man's man, but not like a surly man, like just like an accessible kind of guy. And I was like, well, you're not an asshole at all. I thought everybody in Hollywood was, kind of an asshole, or at least like a secret asshole.
Yeah,
had a secret asshole up their sleeve to pull out, right when they were at dinner, and you're like, "Excuse me, can I have your autograph?" You're like, "Fuck off! We just got the dessert." He was really encouraging, and I probably wouldn't have kept going as hard as I would. And then this last year, I got to do this great new AMC show called Lodge 49, which stars this guy Wyatt Russell, who was in this really great episode of Black Mirror, where they have the house like that. The spiders come out of the house and you pull it out at the very end. He was sitting in the chair the whole time.
Yeah.
I play like a con man, British guy in that, and then I got to do a movie with Julianne Moore last year, and and that's called Gloria, and that'll probably be on the festival circuit next year, and then Peppermint with Jennifer Garner, which is kind of like her John Wick. It's kind of like Jennifer Garner.
So her is a badass?
She's a badass. She's saying the F word, and she's killing a lot of people. So
holy shit.
Like an adult version of Alias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I play a homeless man with PTSD, so it's kind of like it was a stretch for me.
Wow.
I love getting to put on other people's clothes.
Yeah.
I thinking about maybe we switch shirts.
Why not?
You
maybe
and
just
Mike,
pants. Just so nobody can see.
Do it.
All right, hang on.
What about
They're on.
When you were doing when you had to go and do you were doing a lot of stuff with the band. You'd have to go and do award shows. You have to go to movie premieres. You have to go to all sorts of different types of stuff.
I'm not crazy about that.
What's
shit.
the stuff you don't like? Like, what's the thing that you
All of that.
dislike the most of those things?
I think those kind of gatherings are either like real, like they either go, they're like super fun, or they're extremely taxing in a weird way where you're like, I don't want to be around people tonight. I don't want to sit through a 2-hour movie. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that life is like sort of a lot of it's just like as fun as it is pictured, but sometimes it's sort of like you feel out of place, you feel like you shouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
I realize it's a part of the sell, but yeah, I mean, those are, as much as everybody thinks that that's a comfortable thing, being in that void of the other side of the iris. Like, there's kind of a weird displacement that you get when you go down the old red carpet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm up for it. Sometimes I literally am like, man, I feel like a roly-poly that is like just rolling in a child's hand.
Wow.
That's some word pictures for you.
That's good word pictures.
That's good.
We're writing a song right now.
You guys have any crayons?
Yeah, we could totally do that.
Let's go.
I love that. All right, let me take a look at some of the.
See some questions from the people.
Let's see what some of the people have to say.
You look like a green man.
One person.
You're the skinniest Hulk I've ever seen.
Here's a fun one. Rusher loves Logan Henderson forever.
Oh,
says
I know what they like.
He is from Rock Band.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Rock Band.
Man, Rock Band was awesome.
Oh, great job, guys. Great job.
Rock Band was awesome. You have a lot of Russian fans?
Here's another one.
Does this podcast get translated?
Oh, no.
No,
that would be awesome to hear your translated selves.
Oh, yes.
Well, you-
Especially the intro.
His TV show used to be translated into like a bunch of different countries, and I remember the German one sounds really angry.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
here's a
that
question
German
for
stuff
you.
sounds angry.
This is from Tass Nova. Tass Nova asks, potatoes or tomatoes?
Ooh, as much as I love tubers, I think I'm going to go with tomatoes because pasta is king.
Yeah.
And you can't just have pasta without tomatoes, or else then you're broke.
I mean, cream sauce.
Then you're eating ramen, aren't you?
100%.
Cream sauce?
100%.
You do
Cream
mac
sauce.
and cheese?
I mean, cream
Yeah,
sauce,
but
mac
you
and
need-
cheese. Come on.
That's pasta.
Yeah, technically. Kraft. That's Kraft pasta. Is mac and cheese an Italian dish?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
All right, I was about to say. I was like,
Alfredo, maybe?
I'll take it. I'll take a cream sauce.
Alfredo.
Okay,
yeah.
here's another question. This is from
Alfredo for 300, please.
Alec, I'd like to solve.
This is from Jacob_Storm.
Whoa, aggressive name, Jacob.
Jacob Storm asks, do you like being called daddy?
I get daddy a lot now that especially being Rejects fans, people are still discovering our music. So I'll post a picture and I'm like, hey, wow, I look like me today. You know, because we always have this mental picture of what we hope we look like.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, there's a perfect amount of shadow across my face. I look like me. And I get daddy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you know what?
That's a thing they do on the internet.
they
That
do it.
makes me feel compromised. I'm
Yeah,
like, well,
it's a
daddy,
little-
is that it? Sometimes you're like, I don't know the inflection there. Is it like
Yeah.
daddy? Or is it like
daddy?
daddy?
Or daddy.
Or daddy?
Daddy.
I'm
Ingrid-
disappointed in the way you look,
Oh,
daddy.
Ingrid_Jizz.
Oh.
GZZ
okay.
asks,
That's a
do
pronunciation.
you speak any Spanish, and can you say something to people in Spanish?
Un poco.
That works.
That was a little, right? I think that was a little. No,
You
I
coulda
can
just said
I try
no,
to communicate
and it
to
would've been
people,
both.
and it's really, a little.
It's okay. That's fine.
I'm not good at it,
Yeah.
but I did go up to Spanish too. And when I am in a Spanish-speaking country, I often try.
You're in Los
which is-
Angeles. This is
yeah.
Spanish-speaking country.
Totally.
Maddie_31476 says
That's her bank code. That's like her ATM code. Like those people are those
Probably
people do
is
that.
Maddie says, people tell me I'm a daddy all the time, but that's because I have 5 kids.
Oh.
Well,
So
you're a hell of a daddy.
You're a great daddy, and I appreciate that about you.
31576. That's his child support payment every month.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna end
Bye.
this
Okay.
one. All
Bye,
right?
America.
And then I'm gonna move
Russia.
on to
To the Twitter.
We're gonna do another. We're gonna go up here.
Which platform? Facebook now?
We're
Is
gonna
that
do
what you're doing?
Facebook Live.
Oh.
Ooh, Facebook Live. Got some
Facebook
heat
Live.
tracking on Facebook. The ticker's showing Facebook Live's going to be a better jump.
It's a better jump. It
More
is-
substantive questions.
Yes.
Yeah,
People are like green or blue,
yeah, possibly. That's always a little.
I have a
pears
question
or
for you.
peaches.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Over under 20 tattoos. More than 20 tattoos?
Oh
or
no,
fewer?
under, yeah.
Under? Okay,
Yeah.
how many do you have?
What tattoos do you have?
Like 12 maybe.
Okay.
They're all on one side of my body. I tried to conceal
And on your
them.
hand?
And on my hand. These were party tats. This was when I moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
What tattoos do you have on your hand?
I have a piece in the crease.
You got a piece in the crease.
I got some I tried to draw a bird, but it looks like a stick figure skateboarding.
Yeah.
And then one, like, I call this like my distorted Stonehenge because it's one for every record that my band's put out. Oh, and then this is for when I eventually have children. I can now do.
Oh, you can do a face.
I am a little Red Riding Hood. That's fun.
It's the
And it won't
Mr.
wash off.
Wenceslas
It
or
is
whatever.
Yeah, thanks.
I love that. That's fantastic. I love it.
So that's that.
You did that.
What about when it comes to
These will keep you from
Yeah.
working at Blockbuster, though. I'm afraid.
I know. Don't worry. Sometimes I put makeup on them to feel like I'm pure.
before you got married? Did you date any other people in the
Anybody
music
we've
industry or
known of?
actresses or TV
Famous
people?
people?
Things like
No,
that?
I mean nobody of.
There was no Winona Ryder.
No famous exes?
No. I wasn't that cool. I totally. Yeah, I was like a. I was
too weird.
Yeah, it's like I remember one scenario. Okay.
Yeah, please.
I'm at Covell, the wine bar on Hollywood.
Yeah.
Heather Graham's over there in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And she looks bored as shit with whomever her date is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, very, very single. This was like way before, almost like a month before I was like, you know what, Adam Duritz is an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
So I look over and we make eye contact, and I'm like, it's Heather Graham. But that's like Heather Graham giving me that raised eyebrow.
Give me eye.
Whoa.
And she dismissed the dude kind of like a little bit. And like all of a sudden, you know that window where the gradual eye contact and then the secession following, but take it from attraction. I bet I got to look away. He's creepy. He's still looking at me.
Yeah.
Is he gonna just look at me until I leave? All right, I'm fucking leaving. And then literally, as she walked by on the way out, I was like, and I remember reaching out to my agent, going, I saw Heather Graham, at CAA, and I was like 26. I was like, I saw Heather Graham last night, and she was totally giving me a weird, like an eye. You think you could like hook that up? No response. Like
Nothing.
A 26-year-old me going like, yeah, Heather Graham,
Well,
Judy Moody in the Bummer Summer.
so, okay, I got a question for the three of us. What can we do to be more cool? Because you're a cool rock star, and we're
Dude,
not.
I'm a hermit, man. I don't think there's any.
Then we're doing it right.
Yeah, you guys are right. Posting up at Genghis Cohen, waiting for the flood of awesome to come in. Oh, but for the
Any
people
minute
out
now.
there, chase your dreams.
Well, why don't you tell people 5 things they can do to be cool? Because you are
You're cool. We're not
Tyson, you're very cool. You're
What
very
you want me to
cool
get?
guy.
Okay. Be yourself.
Whoa, there we go.
Love
Chase your
yourself.
Love yourself.
Embrace cliches.
Love on yourself.
Love on yourself.
Experience sexuality, because comfort in that is a really big thing. And then do role playing with your friends. Pretend they're girls. Pretend you're a guy.
Whoa.
Oh,
And
Pretend you're a
kiss
guy, yeah.
your hand.
so
Oh yeah.
Remember
Oh,
that?
okay.
That
Learn
still
by
works.
kissing your hand.
Kiss your
Because-
hand. Kiss your hand, because kissing is like a deal breaker for most girls.
Totally.
because I'm so not cool when you
Practice on
said
your hand.
role play with your friends, I was like, well, I did that as an adult. I had a weekly Dungeons and Dragons game for like a year and a half.
Yeah, no. This
But
isn't about
that's
22-sided die.
No.
Here's an interesting question for you. This is something we were talking about earlier today. When it comes to ice in a glass, what is the best ice?
I'm gonna reference a place called Sonic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
They
that's-
have aerated ice. They're
the crushed
tiny,
ice.
small pebbles. People would call that crushed ice, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's tiny peas.
It's smaller than the coffee bean, which is
It's-
pretty good.
It's coffee
but
bean's
even
close,
smaller.
but it gets too hard.
Sonic
it's got
is
a
even
crunch
better,
to it.
yeah.
Sonic is like breaking lace. I would
go the
snow,
Sonic slush
little tiny
is great, yeah.
snowballs
Yeah.
that small little dwarf people,
Yeah.
smaller than dwarves,
Mm.
little elven creatures. were packing for all day softly just by throwing ice
Yes.
on top of piles into little molders.
Correct answer.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Steven, is he right?
What's yours?
It was well, the correct
I
answer.
know crushed ice, but
Crushed
that's-
Crushed ice, but that is
But they don't
pretty
have it
damn
anywhere.
close. That is
Yeah.
pretty damn close.
What do you
I
like?
will take that.
Like what you like getting a chew?
You know what I
You like a chew,
A little,
right?
a little bite. Yeah.
I like a.
What are you, one of the
I
one
like
of those
a
pussies that likes to chew? Is that it?
I like a
This
nice,
guy.
a
Is
nice
what you're
big
into?
block of ice that I just slam my head into
Beefmaster.
until
Beastmaster.
I've fallen asleep.
Ripping phone books.
Here's a good one for you. Another question that we were asked on the internet was for you was who is the worst celebrity you've run into, and who is the best celebrity you've run into? It could be anyone ever. They could be alive or dead,
Could be the same person at different times in his life.
and you don't have to answer this.
No, I'll
No,
answer.
he has to
I'll
answer.
answer
No,
because
no.
it was by fucking proxy.
There you go.
Clay Aiken would not let us ride the elevator with him at the fucking VMAs.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You want to know why you didn't get voted as a governor, Mr. Aiken? It's because you don't think about the little people on the way up.
Literally.
That's right.
That's a fantastic answer.
That is a great
Yeah,
story.
So fuck that guy.
Wow.
Has that been told? Have you told that story a lot? Or
Oh man, that was I feel liberated, man. That was really cathartic for me. I think I'm actually gonna sleep better
that
tonight.
out.
because
Yeah.
I'm actually sweating after telling
I'm
that.
gonna call
Are you
TMZ. We're gonna
serious?
call
I just got like a
TMZ
little bit of
You
a
got a little
sweat.
sweat?
We're gonna call TMZ and get this story
Oh,
covered because
yeah,
that's
break
awesome.
it, break
It's
it.
a great
That's
breaking story.
That's
great
like
story.
taking on the mafia,
Very
what
funny.
he just did.
Yeah,
Totally.
You
Who
just
knows
took
what
His
on
bodyguard was. I mean, if
Clay.
it was just him by himself, we would have
Yeah.
laughed and jumped in with him.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was a bodyguard there.
Yeah.
Ruben Studdard would have let you ride the elevator with him.
People,
Fucking A, man.
People are
He's
loving
gracious.
that story. That is a fucking fantastic story.
Yes.
Clay Aiken.
Got a lot of thumbs up on that one.
Clay Aiken, if you're listening to the
Flurry
show,
of invisible thumbs flying through the air.
how dare you? How dare you be so disrespectful?
I want to bury the hatchet, Clay. Anytime you're ready, you come on this show.
Right.
Come on,
And
that show.
I'll be here in the green light waiting.
You come to
Yeah.
Genghis Cohen.
Like the fucking Wizard of Oz.
It's so uncomfortable. It's such a weird situation.
Yeah.
Clay Aiken. Oh, this woman here wrote, Clay Aiken is my cousin. Cindy.
Tell him he's an asshole.
Why
Tell
can't I
your-
ride the elevator with Clay Aiken?
Tyson Ritter from All American Rejects has a real problem with Clay Aiken.
I don't smell. I didn't smell in that moment. I was dressed nice for the VMAs.
You smell very good. You smell like a nice oak. You have a nice oaky smell.
Thank you. I'm from Oklahoma.
Well, there we go. That
I'm
makes
an
more
Okie.
sense.
Makes sense.
Okay, now who is the best celebrity you've ever met?
Oh, the best celebrity I ever met. Ah, man. I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I mean, honestly, Adam Sandler was the nicest guy. He invited me back to his every year they did this Happy Madison Christmas party.
Yeah.
I went and sang with him like 2 or 3 years in a row, and it was awesome. They always rehearsed and we had fun, and he was just like, I mean, what's that guy got to be mad about?
Yeah.
But
But to
everybody
actually
says
be that
Chevy
guy,
Chase is a complete pile, so it's like, what does Chevy Chase have to be mad
Yeah.
about? But obviously things. So
Yeah,
so Adam Sandler was
Yeah.
really,
Things.
really generous and gracious. My favorite.
absolutely.
Next to you, Steven.
My lovely little sister just typed in here. Tell Tyson that he killed it on Parenthood. Is he going to continue acting? And the answer is
Yes.
Yeah.
yes, and that you
Yeah.
just finished a movie.
I am. And if you watched last season of Preacher, I was Jesus and Humperdew. Which a lot of people probably wouldn't get that was me because Humperdew has a completely disfigured face and stuff. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite, sort of camps is that the preacher camp. They're great people.
Yes. And hey, sister, I told him all about everything. I told him about the band.
About Ben Harper?
I
About
told
you
him
touring?
Ben Harper and the touring
And your girlfriend
and the book
singing
and
with
the
you?
girlfriend singing. And,
I will say, shit
and
where you eat. That's dangerous, sweetheart. Be
Yeah.
careful. All right,
They're
don't.
very good. They're very good together. They're
I'm
really,
sure you are. You just make sure you get your time.
Okay. Okay. Here's another. We got another question for you. It is winter, spring, summer, or fall.
Ooh, I think I'm a winter.
Are you?
Yeah.
You feel color wise as well? Like, do you feel like a blues? Are you a blues?
I'm a
bluesy
man.
You're a bluesy man.
I'm a bluesy
You're a
man.
bluesy man, and you like the winter. It's nicer than the summer because in the summertime,
Well, we live in LA, man. It's always summer. I hate
always
it.
summer.
No, it's
here.
been freezing
Oh,
the
for a
last couple
week.
days.
That was amazing. It's been great.
I can't handle my space heater's
It's been
been on
great not
24 hours a
sweating in
day.
my bed, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, it's a. You know what? It's been cold to the point where I just go. I could go out, or blanket, and then I just blanket.
But see,
Right.
you have a cold weather body.
Antiques Roadshow it.
So good.
Are you watching it? You watch Antiques
I
Roadshow?
watch Antiques Roadshow. I also watch the America's Pastime Hour, which is Jeopardy into Wheel of Fortune,
Yeah.
Oh,
which
so
America's
good.
Game. By the way, Pat Sajak, I don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter. His Twitter game is so righteous.
What?
It's insane. He
You know-
is like, he's got quips. They're not all singers, but
You
when
know
he
who's
hits a
great?
home run,
Ken Jennings, 73-time Jeopardy champion in a row. Fantastic Twitter.
right?
Follow
Well,
Ken Jennings.
Probably, I mean, the guy's probably got a lot of like
Really,
wit,
he's a really bright guy.
and he's quick. He's quick. He's Jeopardy. It's all about the button.
It's my favorite thing about Antiques Roadshow, by the way, is
Not having sex.
Yeah, it's not having sex while you're watching Antiques Roadshow. Oh, we've got to wrap things up.
Yeah, we're flying over, but it's cool because I love you. God, you are so green.
Look how green I am.
Full on.
I am Oz,
Great.
the great and terrible.
I'm the not Jolly Green. I'm the Jolly Green shrink.
You are. Look, this has been so much fun. Where can people find you on the internet, and where are you live next that people get to see you in person?
Man, we're playing. I think April 14th in the University of Pennsylvania with Charlie XCX. Yeah, that'll be then. That's the Reject show. You can see me this year on AMC's Lodge 49, which is a brand new show that'll be coming out. And at Tyson Ritter is my handle, as the people who
they
need
say
to
on
be
the
held
internet.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something too, and I'm just going to throw this out at you, just so that you know for the future. March 10th, and then I believe April. What's the April show? April. You know, Matt. Take a
April
look at it.
21st.
April 21st. March 10th, April 21st.
guys do a live reading?
These are the live. That's when we do the live nighttime show at the Hollywood Improv in front of 250 people.
Oh, I bet that's fun.
It's very fun, and we've had a ton of famous guests like Tom Green and Nick Swartzen and
Nice.
Craig Robinson was last month. This month it's Billy Gardell and
From Mike and
some
Molly?
other from Mike and Molly. All sorts
nice.
of great people, and people perform. They do stand up, and then we'll have special guests sometimes show up and do a song or screw around or do
Nice.
something weird. We always have a live band at the show so they can learn stuff. If ever you want to come fuck with us and
Oh,
hang
man,
out,
that sounds like a gas.
you will always be welcome to come and screw around with us on stage.
Much obliged.
It is the closest to the jazz night at the
W that we talked
like
about,
where
yeah.
the audience. You look in the audience at times and you're like, oh my god, there's a gold medal Olympian and there's
Michaela Maroney
there's a
showed
guy-
up.
there's
Michaela Maroney,
there's the cast
American
of New
hero.
Girl, and there's
Wow.
there's this
Yeah.
and there's that. Like we've had so many amazing people just show up to like
Yeah.
hang out and watch the show. So if ever you're down,
Wait,
to
was
come
she
fuck with us-
Olympian before she came?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it'd be
well
cool if like it was after, and then
Well, she was
like,
like-
well, now we can't get her to come, but
Yeah.
obviously the curling team is
Yeah.
totally showing up.
Oh yeah,
They're in Minnesota, or they would.
Matt.
Can you-
loves
Matt
curling.
Hamilton.
We didn't even get to touch on the Olympics. We'll save it for next month.
Yeah, we'll save it. We'll do it. You're fantastic, Mike.
Pleasure.
Where can people find you on the internet?
I host a podcast called The Power Pals.
Are you promoting another podcast?
Yeah, goddamn
on
right I
our
am. I do whatever I
podcast?
want.
You son of a
Oh,
bitch.
fuck you. We need listeners real bad.
All right,
it's
that's fine.
Nerdy, dirty comedy, and I'm also on all social media at Mike Black Attack.
And the podcast that you're on also besides this is
The Power Pals.
yeah, it's a great show. It's really
Power bottom.
Sounds real good.
Power Bottoms.
Real sweet.
Also
Real fresh.
yeah.
Also a podcast.
Matt, where can people find you?
You can find links to everything at funnymatt.com, or if you were annoyed by me, please let me know at mattwalkersucks.com.
You can always get me at Steven Glickman on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the Nighttime Show podcast. We always try to have wonderful and incredible guests, and literally having Tyson having you on the show has been a
treat for me, my friend.
It's a dream come true. You're such a sweet guy. Thanks again for everything that you do and that you've done, and I can't wait to do more fun stuff with you in the future.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, you're the best.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thanks, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave comments and share. Bye.